Tell me when there's some humans in there.
Okay, you got two.
That's cool.
It says seven. They just haven't said hello yet.
It says 7.
Yeah, they just haven't said hello yet.
Oh, okay. That's cool. It's cool. We're giving everyone a couple minutes. How about now?
Yeah, you got them in.
I've got them in. Fantastic. Hello, everyone. I'm going to go back to this topic we're having to sneak over here into Mona's account to show the course. There's precedent for this from Martin Horowitz. He's a professor of the Harvard Law School. He did a lecture called "The Warren Court and the Cultural Reimagination of American Culture," UCLA, 2001. So, Professor Horowitz pointed out it was the Warren Supreme Court that legitimized and protected cultural diversity, which led to multicultural tolerance, which led to national court, tolerance of nudity, and related practices in art. This was in opposition to lower laws set by some states, whose artistic censorship was based on Puritanism and low education, and works like some by D.H. Lawrence were outlawed. D.H. Lawrence's book was outlawed, by the way. However, Professor Horowitz gave all the credit to the courts when, frankly, he should have included improving education and the intelligence of the American population. That was only reflected by the courts. Interesting point. If you want to look that up, I'll give it to you again. Professor Morton Horowitz, Horwitz, professor, Harvard Law School, and the lecture was the Warren Court, Warren, and the Cultural Reimagination of American Culture, okay, UCLA 2001. So you can read the entire article. Surely it's online somewhere. Okay, we're going to look at architecture dash modernism and postmodernism and functionalism. Frank Lloyd Wright, of course, is one. We're going to see this. Modernism and functionalism of the Bauhaus School, Bauhaus, considers progress science and rejects the past. This is modernism, rejects the past, considering past ideas regressive. That's on test 3A review. And we're talking about 1900 to 1980s. It was an international style that went swept across particularly the West. Now, postmodernism, this is also in 3A. Postmodernism is a reaction against modernist formalism in favor of a permissive theory that encourages invention and experiment. Okay, this is 1980s on. So we're going to look particularly at architecture. And we're looking here at the Lever House, Lever. Excuse me, house, New York, 1951-52. And the architect is Gordon Bunshaft. The architectural firm of Skidmore. And its high modern building type is corporate headquarters, skyscraper, and commercial office tower. The construction system is steel frame with a glass curtain wall. Let's see. Talk about that. Okay. Let's move on. Le Corbusier. Le Corbusier. Le Corbusier. L-E, of course. C-O-R. B-U-S-I-E-R. This is the chapel, it's a church, the chapel of Notre Dame du Hon, 1950 to 1955. And it's the Swiss architect Corbusier. You need to know who did the chapel of Notre Dame. There's many, of course, chapels of Notre Dame because that's Notre Dame in Ohioese, or of course it's the Virgin Mary. This is also verbatim. He is one of the leaders of the international style of architecture, period. Next sentence, continuing. He believed houses should have an interior emphasis and be designed for people. Of course, if you're pouring concrete, you can make concrete curved. It will take any shape you pour it into. Here is another Corbusier. I'm doing three things at once. Le Corbusier, and this is the Chandigarh Assembly Hall, C-H-A-N-D-I, whoops, no, I'm there, C-H-A-N-D-I-G-A-R-B, Assembly Hall, and Chandigarh, India, 1950 to 65. And again, I think this slide is slightly fuzzy. there. A little adjustment helped. And let's go to Goetz, Goeritz, and Barrington, Barrangan. And this is the Square of the Five Towers, 1957 to 8. It's Satellite City, Mexico City, where you have a grouping, an entire grouping of skyscrapers. We're missing just a tad touch off the bottom, but that's all right. We won't die, I don't think. Does the projector need to be raised a little?
Yeah.
Talk to Ramona.
Would you like me to do that?
Would you please? Okay, she's gonna fix the bottom. This is another new projector we bought this semester. And just came in last night. Let me give you a little example of something. I have a second cousin. While she's doing it, I have a second cousin, and they live in Idaho on a sort of a farm ranch. They have some animals and many different outdoorsy kinds of things. And he works as a contracts negotiator around the world. They pick him up on Monday. And they put him in a limousine, put him on an airplane. He lives on the airplane all week, up in the air. And then near the end of the week, they shoot him back home. She cans apples. Now, why would somebody can apples, by the way? She ships them to New York and gets $25 a pint for those apples. Are they delicious? Oh yes. She perfected an incredible spice. The secret, of course, is cinnamon. For her sliced apples, and canned and sliced and canned. But why not do it for $25 a pint? There's many kind of alternative work. You just don't hear about them, by the way. Frankly, unless you join a Facebook group like there's farmers and Facebook groups for horses and what all, baby. Everything. And they advise each other. And if one's having a problem, they tell someone else. But anyway, you learned a lot about canning, didn't you?
Yeah.
We prefer home canned food. It tastes a whole lot better. Okay, I am on Frank Lloyd Wright, and this is the Kalita Humphreys Theater. Kalita, Kalita. Wright is Wright. In Dallas, Texas, in 1959. It's absolutely as simple as can possibly be. I've talked about Frank Lloyd Wright before. And here is Niemeyer. Niemeyer. And by the way, let me back up just a second. Wright's theater was bold and innovative and based on Wright's organic architecture, which stressed form and function. That's a term that's repeated all the time in business. Form and function. Talking about this. I don't know how that note goes. Nope. Well, there we go. Niemeyer, by the way, this is in Brasilia. This is in Brasilia. So this is the Niemeyer Congressional Office Towers, Brasilia, in Brazil. There are buildings like this around the world that are pretty stunning. He was influenced by Le Corbusier and did the flowing, kind of left the flowing curves of South American architecture and developed this rather fluid style for a skyscraper. I could see something like this in downtown Union, can't you? Ah, baby, I dropped my little paper holder. This has been the week from Hayes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Including my war, as you see, we're still here, so, including my little battle with Facebook. It makes no sense at all. It's not even part of, never mind, I'm not going to get into that. Just silly, but art of something is not the same thing as something. And not everything, I'm still tick, a little tick. And not everything in the world is titillation. This idea that everything is titillation is a fantasy. There's a higher thought. Okay, we're going to look at the Air Force Academy Cadet Chapel. It's by Nietzsche, Netschch. We can't see it all. We're going to glance down. It's worth seeing. This is the chapel from U.S. Air Force. 1939 to 1941. No, maybe not. Because I don't have it. I looked at the wrong thing. I don't have a date on it. Let's see. Anyway, I wish you could see the entire thing. On the inside, the acoustics are absolutely unbelievable. Everything about the building is designed for acoustics. Everything. And it has a huge organ at one end. It's absolutely stunning. Oh, here it is. I do have it. The interior. Here's the organ. Absolutely bizarre. It's beautiful. And the sound is incredible. Okay, we're at Charles Moore, Moore, an American. The inspiration for this building was Roman and Italian Renaissance. It certainly would be nice if they provided a slide for the daytime. They don't. I'll kind of describe it. It has triumphal arches, bell towers, and fountains arranged as a backdrop to a circular plaza, into which extends a huge relief map of Italy. The purpose of the design and name is to honor the Italian population of the city. The design actually rebels against the austerity of structuralism and functionalism. Okay, Michael Graves. Like this? I do. Michael Graves, Graves. This is the Portland Public Services Building in Portland, Oregon, built in 1980. And all you can say is just look and enjoy it. The sides open into the interior. Um, see. Okay. This is the Pompidou National Arts and Cultural Center in Paris. Let me repronounce that. Pompidou. Pompidou. Paris. And you see all the plumbing is on the outside. All the heating vents and air conditioning vents and everything. Instead of it taking up valuable office space and having to have 2-foot floors between sections, it's just very nice indeed. And let's see here. Let's look at postmodernism in painting, sculpture, and new media. Postmodernism in painting, sculpture, and new media. I defined postmodernism. So, we're on starting topic 8 now. Figurative painting and sculpture, a continuation of tradition. So, figurative art never ended and continued. Facebook doesn't like that. I didn't create the history, of course, not my job. And continue with a few artists, particularly in Europe, and a few American schools of art. So, the many different approaches that have been influenced from previous styles and period, including employing a variety of styles, technique, and materials. Oh, I can't show Raoul Middleton. Baby, I'm not going to get you knocked off. Raoul Middleton, one of my teachers, Raoul Middleman, Middleman. Raoul is Raoel, an American. And I'm going to flip over it because I don't want repercussions on my wife. She has enough repercussions being married to my craziness. And here's another one by Perlstein, Philip Perlstein. I mean, we're in figurative art across those figures. And, of course, we have Andrew Wyatt. That's all I can say. I mean, I can talk, but, you know, you can't see what I'm talking about. I apologize. So you can look up Philip Perlstein, 2 of theirs, and the Adirondack, female model on Adirondack rocker is the it's the new realism, 1980. And Andrew Wyatt, it's simply called nude. So we know not to look at it. Oh, and by the way, if you think that Facebook is through, the reason we're having the videos here is because they stopped my being able to make a video. Okay? So it says this user cannot make a video right now. Okay? So they're just having a heyday. Now, there are, understand, by the way, and I know I diverge a little, there are people combing the internet trying to mess up anyone or any group they possibly can. And they don't care what it is, whether it's gardening, whether it's car repair, or anything. They try to bring the wrath of Facebook down on them and get them shut down. And they do this this is their, I say it's their job, but they're not paid for it. They just do it for the pleasure of hurting other people. And that's a shame. Let's go to neoconceptualism, also known as pictorialism. And we're going to look at Gilbert and George. Well, Gilbert had to do that. Gilbert and George. And this is called We Are, 1995, 7 foot by 6 foot. As Gardner explains, the British team of Gilbert and George question every aspect of traditional art, assert they themselves, the artists that you see here, are living culture, living sculpture, and that their entire, quote, proper English lives, unquote, contributed to their art. They put themselves into collages, drawings, and giant sculpture, pieces made from photographs to respond to their lives. We can photographs to respond to their lives. And we can see these techniques in this conceptual art piece. So their art is about themselves, these two proper English gentlemen. I can show. Can't show that one. That's Eric Fischl, Fischl, The Power of Rock and Roll, 1984. You need to write this. It's in your 3A reference. Fischl, Fischl, often creates erotic themes, sometimes working from photographs. It's not erotic at all, but anyway. Maybe we should send a copy to the Supreme Court ruling. I'm sure that whoever's making these decisions never read the Supreme Court ruling. Okay, but now there's lots of local pressure on anything and everything going on now. Strange time. Judy Pfaff, Pfaff. Judy Pfaff. Dragons. It's mixed media. It's an installation. This is at the Whitney Museum of American Art. Pfaff was British American. She does basically assemblages of objects and shapes. So she's done, I think, 3 exhibits at University of South Carolina and Columbia. So she brings in a lot of materials, and then she goes shopping for other materials. Ribbons, streamers, ropes, everything you see here. And she is given an area, and she installs it. That's why it's called installation art. She installs it. I don't remember what's on this image, this next one. Okay, excellent. This is Kiefer, Kiefer. First name is Anselm, Anselm. And this is titled Osiris and Isis. It's mixed media, 1985 to 87. And Kiefer sees the Egyptian god Osiris and his wife Isis across the sky. Isis, by the way, was Christianity's only competition for the primary religion of Europe. However, the Romans made sure that Christianity prevailed. And you see them up at the top, believe it or not. Sort of. You see a somewhat hominid kind of shape, or humanoid, as we used to say decades ago. Human shape, and this is a pyramid, telling you it's Egypt. Okay, faith. Let's talk about commentary. Artists doing art. That's a commentary on art history. Did you get that? Faith Ringgold. 44. Ringgold. Faith Ringgold. This is called The Men. Mask Quilt, number 2, 1986. She's been an artist for over 35 years, African American, and is a professor of art at the University of California in San Diego. She's exhibited around the world with her quilts, and she is best known for her painted story quilts, art that, let me slow down because right here's a verbatim. We're talking about Faith Ringgold, Ringgold. She's known for her painted story quilts. I'm summarizing for you. Art that combines painting, quilted fabric, and storytelling. She has won numerous awards in her career and holds 17 honorary doctorate degrees. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. I love this. Tansey. Tansey. First name is Mark. It's called The Innocent Eye Test, 1981. Metropolitan Museum in New York. Other authors put this in photorealism art and return to realism, and even figurative art. But he's making here a social commentary in my book. It's a cultural statement on art history. And here was the main point. The point of this, you notice it's painted as if it was black and white, very old. It was done in 1981. The idea is, or the point he's trying to make, is the cow. If the cow sees another cow in the painting, it must be good art. It's brilliant, and it's funny too. Of course, it's tongue in cheek, but it's funny too, and painted even the suits of the men to look like the 1930s, 1940s. It's called the Seeing Eye Test. The Innocent Eye Test. The Innocent Eye Test. It's fun. And we have Arneson. Robert Arneson, Arneson. Yes. And this is titled California Artist. He made it of himself, called it California Artist, 1982. It's figurative, glazed stoneware. An American mostly working in figurative ceramic sculpture, often satirical. He wrote this, he created this self-portrait after an art critic wrote that California art was provincialism. This work reflects all the critics' stereotypes, which are obvious. Fun. Let's go to feminism. Feminism, including femages, Femmages. Feminism, of course, is not a style, but refers to the content. Many styles are used, for example, as Stockstead points out. Audrey Flack comment is feminist, but her style is super realist. The content of feminist art began in the early 1970s and was aimed at celebrating the lives of women and women artists. Did I say that too quick? Because that's an answer to 3A. The content of feminist art began in the early 1970s and was aimed at celebrating the lives of women and women artists. Femages. And by the way, Femages got a real boost. Nancy Sinatra, the daughter of the great singer and actor, came out with a song. His daughter came out with a song called, I don't know, was it called Boots? These boots are made for walking, and one of these days they're going to walk all over you. That's a fun song to listen to these days, by the way. But many women took it very seriously, that song. It became a little dangerous to even ask a girl to dinner or something. It could be, are you trying to dominate me? You know? I would run and hide, you know. But look it up on YouTube. Don't you think it'd be fun to listen to?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you know. But it helped inspire the Femages. And the leader of the Femages, Helen Gurley, wasn't it Helen Gurley Brown? No, she was part of it. She was editor of one of the top women's magazines. What was that time when it was around forever? I don't know if it still exists or not. I can't think of it. Helen Gurley Brown was editor-in-chief of, over 15 years of it. Cosmopolitan. But there was someone else that was political leader of the Femages movement. I can't not remember her name. But what's so odd is, well, maybe not odd, but after on and on and on about the women's clothes and everything else was using their bodies and insulting women and everything. She shows up on the Johnny Carson show about 15 or 20 years later, I guess about 15, wearing the shortest miniskirt I ever saw in my life and at least 6-inch spike heels. Anyway, that's not a put down. Things change. You look at views in different ways. A woman went into the North Carolina Museum, and let's see, this would have been the real early 80s, and she took a knife and slashed several of the paintings of women, nude paintings. They weren't all nude, some were not, that she slashed. Those something. There's some points to that. This is all right. This is 3A. If I didn't do it already, the content of feminist art began in the early 1970s and was aimed at celebrating the lives of women and women artists. So let's look at some and hope I don't run across any news I've forgotten about. There again, remember I have over 6,000 slides. They get swimming around my head sometimes. I think this one's okay. We will find out in a part of a second. Nope, had nipples. Anyway, it was Sylvia Sleigh's, Sleigh. Sylvia Sleigh's painting of Lilith, Lilith. This is contemporary realism. Sleight was a noted figurative painter, primarily known for groundbreaking portraits of male nudes. You'd think I'm kidding, by the way, about this whole nipple thing, because it's number one on the list. No nipples. I went through and read all the Facebook stuff. And by the way, we're doing this now on Ramona's, because we're just finishing up now with a few classes. So we'll see where we go from here. But Ramona she's used to doing this stuff. I'm not. I need a technician, and I can't afford one, so, I use my wife. And she does it for the Indian tribe that she works for. What was I going to say? But I can't lose her Facebook. What we'll do we'll stay in the fall, for example. If we're going to try to slide through, squeeze by then. I remember whoever's complaining will leave us alone for a while till we can at least finish the course. Otherwise, we can't finish the course. Then, if that doesn't work, if putting it on here doesn't work for whatever nefarious reason, we will go to YouTube. Mona is experimenting with that now, aren't you?
Yes.
To try to see all that takes. So we'll stay with Facebook and put the videos on YouTube. So I'm following her lead because, like I said, she does this. Understand me. I haven't changed much since when? Technology. What? 1990s maybe?
1980s.
1980s. Yeah. Half the time I don't know where my phone is. Okay. And I've never texted on it. So, all right. So, you need these people who talk on news shows and things. They have a technician there. All right. Sorry. Miriam Shapiro, another one of my teachers. Schapiro, Miriam Shapiro. Feminist art. It's called, and I love the title, I'm Dancing as Fast as I Can, 1985. We all end up trying to dance as fast as we can in life. Well, except I just hide back here in the woods and feed my horses, our horses and things. I'm dancing as fast as I can. I felt like that a bunch of times in my life. And she describes her work as a feminine approach to collage, by the way. Collage is piecing things together. It could be pieces of paper that you paint over, pieces of canvas glued on, different parts, different pieces put together. Good work by Shapiro. Cindy Sherman, 2 colors. I think this is clean. Yes, it is. Cindy Sherman, Sherman. And It's untitled. It's a self. They're self photographs. 1987. This was exhibited in the Metropolitan Pictures Gallery in New York City. 96 by 120. It's about herself. It's a picture about herself. And perfectly legitimate. Verbatim. Sherman's endeavor has yielded multiple series of photographs in which she investigates issues about the construction of self-image, particularly for women. By the way, Cindy Sherman appeared as herself in an underground film directed and wrote by John Waters. I did work for John Waters in his early days in Baltimore. But this was done long after I left Baltimore. This was 1998. The title of the underground film is a low-budget film. People just kind of put their money together and put together and to say what they want to say. Crybaby was probably John Waters' only successful, really big-time successful film.
How about that one Shampoo?
And Shampoo?
Yeah.
Shampoo, but it wasn't as well known as Crybaby. Well, I was doing he was using little 8mm cameras when I was with him, and I ceased that relationship when I went to Mexico to go to college. And let's talk about return to art foundations. Let's look at what some people, particularly, I just push down on that and move. That button is hard. Oh, there's a nipple. That was Ralph Paquin's. Ralph Paquin is a professor at Presbyterian College. Well recognized. That was called The Gift, 1997. Ceramic, 72 inches. He takes the forms that he likes, particularly voluptuous women, and does a body cast off of them. You saw a body cast earlier. Let's look at icon painting. Icon painting. Now, 3 different artists I know of have done love. Just the word love. And they did it to get a commission from the federal government for a stamp. Okay? And one of my old teachers, Peter Max, submitted this and won the commission. Peter Max, M-A-X. It's called Love, 1969. It's icon painting. I'm going to let you look that up on your own. Icon painting. It dates all the way back to early Christian art. The original is 44 by 30 inches. He's still popular today, by the way. His work has been published in the United States more than any other artist, starting with a cover of Life magazine in the early 1970s. He's commissioned the portraits of 5 presidents, and you'll notice, by the way, this is Art Nouveau. Remember the style Art Nouveau with Aubrey Beardsley, for example, like Salome with the bloody head of John the Baptist. How can you forget that? And remember Art Nouveau, that's the style this is in. Art Nouveau is as popular today as it was in the 1900s in Europe. Oh, and this is interesting. While painting a commission for Nancy Reagan, when she and Ronald Reagan were in the White House, Max asked Reagan if she would help him start an awareness program for the disintegrating Statue of Liberty. Yes, the Statue of Liberty was in bad need of repair, and no one was fixing it, by the way. It was actually cracking at the seams. And Reagan said she would get back to him, and weeks later her secretary called to say there was no money to repair the Statue of Liberty. Can you imagine this whole thing? A president, okay, all he has to do is say bang, and there's like millions to fix it. So as soon as Max hung up, he called Lee Iacocca. Now, Lee Iacocca was a well-known car designer. For example, he designed the Mustang, which was extremely popular, and several other cars, the Chrysler K car and others. So he could pick up the phone, and by the way, and call Lee Iacocca, and the number will be put through. We're talking about the chairman of the board of Chrysler Corporation. And Chrysler turned the entire advertising organization over to Max and said, direct him, tell him what to do. And as a result, they raised enough money to not only fix the Statue of Liberty, which was millions. I should look that up. They raised over, here's a number, they raised over $50 million in private funds to save the Statue of Liberty. The creation was, the slogan was Save the Lady, and that slogan was created by Max as the theme. So, some interesting things. All right, new assemblage. I don't want to get into this right now. I think I want to hang in. Let me see. We have a test Monday. Yeah, because I want time to contemporary art. In other words, contemporary meaning now. So, thank you very much. Hopefully I didn't lose Mona's Facebook. All right.
I don't think so.
Anything I can do? Send me. You don't have a question on 3A? I'll help you with the answer. Anything that you have, help me. Now, let me say this about that. If you're at Princeton or other top American schools, students get together in study groups. This is not a bad idea. They get together in study groups and help each other out. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. You know, we all don't have to trudge through this world. We really don't. If people just ask each other, they can have some help. And at the top U.S. institutions, that is done. All right. Thank you. Oh, the test is Monday, isn't it? Didn't I say Monday or Wednesday? I'll put a post up. Look at it. Okay? Thank you. Tell me bye. I think I put Wednesday. I'll have to look at my own post.